Good morning, friends. Matt Greer here from my beautiful windowless office at St. John's United Methodist Church in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Welcome to Monday Morning Music with Matt. I'm so happy that you are with us this morning. I'm sorry that last Monday's scheduled conversation with Adrian Danrich didn't happen. I was feeling under the weather all of last week, and so I was really sorry that I wasn't able to chat with Adrian. We are postponing that. It'll probably happen in early June, so look for that to happen again. But I'm super happy to be here this morning and super excited about the guests that I get to chat with. Before we start, I'm just going to play something, as I generally do, for the fun of it. This is something that came to my attention a couple of weeks ago. One of my favorite concert pianists is a British pianist named Stephen Hough, H-O-U-G-H, just a brilliant pianist and also a composer and arranger. And he has done a bunch of transcriptions of popular songs that I think he uses for encores on recitals. And this is Stephen Hough's transcription, Stephen Hough playing his own transcription of My Favorite Things from The Sound of Music. What's cool about this video I'm going to show is that it has the score you can see in real time, so you can see the music if you read music across the page as it's being played for you, and you can play along at home if you have a piano handy. This is Stephen Hough playing My Favorite Things. Is that pretty fun, or is that pretty fun? Stephen Hough playing My Favorite Things. If you don't know Stephen Hough, check him out. An amazing pianist and a wonderful arranger also. So I guess the big news of the week is that there seems to be serious light at the end of the tunnel around the pandemic and the new CDC guidelines, especially as they apply to singing. Everybody heard the big announcement on Thursday having to do with vaccinated people being able to be unmasked outdoors and indoors. But at least among choir directors, the big news was this portion of the chart that the CDC put out. And on the right is happy vaccinated people, and on the left is people who are not yet vaccinated. And by golly, there is attend a full capacity worship service and sing in an indoor chorus is okay for vaccinated people unmasked. And this is huge news. I've been talking to friends and colleagues all over since this came out, as we're just trying to get our heads around it and exactly what it's going to mean. And of course, if you've been worshiping with us on Sunday mornings at St. John's, you know that we've been dipping our toe back in by having small ensembles out of our chancel choir, all of whom are singing with these singers' masks that at least allow for some resonance for the sound to get through. But this is completely different. And I think it's going to take a while to figure out exactly what it means and what people's comfort levels are, because of course the big thing is fully vaccinated people. And so how that plays out for us here and for choruses all over, I think is going to play out in the next couple of weeks, but it is, it's very exciting. I'm not going to lie. So I am hopeful that that's going to bode well for what happens with choir in the short term before too long. So I have a fantastic guest to talk to this morning, and by way of introduction, I'm going to play a video of a performance of her. And the cool thing about some of the music that we're going to play this morning is that it involves not only my guest, Christine Fawson, but also our own brilliant organist and artist in residence at St. John's, Jim Arend. Christine and Jim did a live stream concert for us last June, and I'm going to start this morning by playing our first clip of the morning from that concert. And this is Christine and Jim performing What Is This Thing Called Love? Enjoy.
What is this thing called love? This funny thing called love. Just who can solve its mystery? Why should it make a fool of me? I saw you there one wonderful day. You took my heart, you threw it away. That's why I asked the Lord in heaven above, what is this thing called love?
That is just so great. And one of the things I think when I watch that clip is no matter how hard I try, I will never be as cool as Jim Arend. And I just have to live with that every single day. So that was Christine Fawson and Jim Arend. A few years ago, the music director of our Jazz Vesper service, Robert Law, told me somebody amazing has moved to town from Boston. And we're going to invite her to appear on Jazz Vespers. And you just need to know because she is really something special. Her name is Christine Fawson, and she is both a trumpet player and a singer. And so Christine came and did a guest shot on our Jazz Vespers, and we presented her and her band on a Sunday afternoon concert. And then you saw last summer, she did a live stream for us. She's also done things like popped in as a surprise to random choir rehearsals, and she's just fantastic. And I am so pleased she's here this morning, all the way from Rio Rancho, New Mexico. Good morning, Christine.
Hey, Matt. Good morning.
How are you?
So good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's really nice to see you. Do you hate watching videos of yourself?
It's funny. Now, I'm getting better, but I love Jim Arend. So I was awesome. I love his time. Oh man, I'm so grateful to be able to play with him.
Yeah. That was a great concert. It was really good. It was really fun to revisit it and choose a couple of clips to play this morning. And so how long have you been in town? When did you move here?
Good question. My husband and I moved here with my daughter 4 years ago.
Okay. From Boston.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And I want to talk about that because we have Boston in common, but give us the thumbnail sketch of how you chose this life. Did you, I mean, musically speaking, did you do music in school, for instance? Did you play in band? Did you sing in choir?
Yeah. Yes. All of the above. So I'm the youngest of 5. And
oh, I am too.
You are?
Sorry. Yeah, I am totally.
Oh, that's good. Well, you're not as much of a brat as I am, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
But no, I grew up singing with my family, right? And in church. So every Sunday we're at church. And then I guess because I'm outgoing, my personality kind of lent it to singing solos and doing more stage stuff. So I was always performing just as a singer, before I even played the trumpet. So I mean, I didn't know what harmony was. I just sang it, right? Like my mom probably taught it to me, and then I would sing it. And I remember singing with the kids in the primary choruses. And one of the kids said to me, "You're singing the wrong note." But I was singing the third below, and I knew, So I've always had a love for harmony and for singing the lower parts. And so then when it came time for 6th grade, everyone in my family, we picked an instrument. And my brother, he was older than me. He played the trombone. And I was a tomboy. I was always outside in the dirt with him, riding my bike, playing basketball, trying to be like him. And so that was the closest thing to the trombone was the trumpet. So we went to the pawn shop and found a cornet. And that was my first instrument in the 6th grade band. Wow.
And where was this? Where did you grow up?
Good question. I grew up in California, Ukiah, California. Northern
Ukiah, California.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so you had a background in singing, and then you started playing in the band. And did you immediately take to the trumpet? Did that seem like this is what I should play?
Yes. And I think probably because they said it was hard, it's the one that not very many people wanted to pick,
I see.
It's hard to make a sound initially. And like most professional trumpet players that I meet, I was natural at it, and like any kid, you're not going to want to continue doing something that's too difficult for you. Right. So it was easy enough that I kept playing, but no, it's hard. I don't know. I don't know why I still play. I'm looking at it. No. I've actually, this time has been awesome for me because since I'm such a social creature, this time has been amazing for me and my trumpet just to develop a better relationship,
Yeah. So what happened after high school? Did you go somewhere and major in music?
Yes. I was pretty good. So I got full scholarships where I applied, you know, on the trumpet. And as a woman, there were a lot in the 90s. This was in the late 90s. So this was a good opportunity for a woman to be coming into music, right? So I got lots of opportunities. I chose to go to Hawaii for 2 years. I was Mormon, so I went to BYU Hawaii for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
And it was awesome. I wish I would have stayed, to be honest. I mean, not forever, but I went there for 2 years before I transferred to Berklee College in Boston, which is where I ended up teaching for 14 years. And that's where I met my husband and had most of my career so far, you know.
Gotcha. And so where did jazz come in for you? Were you basically on a track? Were you already on a track for jazz in college, or were you more being classically trained?
That's a great question. So I mean, I love classical music, and the first ensembles that I played in, besides the concert band, were brass quintets. And I had some great young mentors. The trombone players that I hung out with, Andrew West, he's an astrophysicist now, and Damon McMillan, he makes airplanes, I think. Yeah, and my brother is a nerd. Like all these nerdy guys that were my mentors, and so they showed me some great music. And so one of the first ensembles I played in as an 8th grader was the brass quintet in the high school, right? And so I was playing with older people, and then I got to play with a community college brass quintet there in Ukiah. And so as a younger person in high school, I was playing with a lot of older people and playing some pretty advanced music, right? Classical music. So then in high school, we got a new band director, and he was a sax player, and he introduced me to John Coltrane and Lee Morgan. And that's my first, there it is, John Coltrane, Blue Train. That's my first, I remember going to the used record store and hearing Lee Morgan play a solo on this record and going, what is that? I want to do that. And that was when I started. But the problem is, as a young woman with no mentor in professional jazz, really, somebody playing gigs for a living, I was such a good student. I just wanted to learn, and I never thought I was good enough. And so I took all these opinions as I went, you know, do this, man. But really, I just want to play bebop, you know. And so even at going to Berklee, that's not a jazz school, really. There's so many things going on. And so in the course of my life, I've done so many awesome things. But I'm coming back to jazz, and that's, I think, why I moved to New Mexico, because I've been playing gigs and thank goodness I'm lucky. I've made a good living as a musician because I've been open to different styles and I'm versatile and stuff. But man, I just want to play from my heart and know what I'm playing. Like when I saw that thing with Jim just there, that's what I want to do. Like, that's what I want to do, you know? And so I'm happy that I can do that. But it's funny because a lot of jazz musicians never had a conventional or commercial career, right? And because maybe my father was an entrepreneur, and so I saw what that was to hustle and work. And so for me, that was the first priority. And I've done that. I'm so grateful. When I moved to Boston, I've always had a band. I've always been a hustler, getting gigs and stuff like that, as well as practicing and being open and kind of saying yes to everything. So now I'm not. Now I'm saying no. And do more of the practice and the things that mean more to me, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I want to play another clip from that concert, if you're cool with it. And this, I just love. I love this song. First of all, I remember being so happy when you guys chose to sing this on the concert last summer, and I love what you guys do with it. This is Irving Berlin, What'll I Do? I love that song.
I love it too. Oh.
Yeah, there's just something about it.
You know, it's funny. My father, that was the last performance my father saw me do.
Was it really?
Because he just passed away in October from cancer. And he was watching, you know, and he was like the most supportive one for me. I mean, I think the other family members wanted me to stay in the church and stuff like that, you know, but my dad always supported me. He always believed in me. And so I started crying when you played that, because I have a picture of my dad right here, and I'm looking at the words, what will I do when all I have is a photograph of the memories? Like, so, but no, it's cool. That is, Jim, man, Jim made that arrangement, you know?
Yeah, it makes me very happy that we were able to, because it was a live stream, that your dad was able to see it. That's really, really lovely. And Jim is lurking around. He says Christine goes there 100%, which is why I love playing with her.
Man, Jim is intimidating to play with. I got to be honest. There aren't that many guys who can hear everything, you know.
Yes, he does. He has amazing ears. I totally agree. So, kind of back to your journey a little bit. When you started to gig and to teach in Boston, was the singing going on all the time concurrently with playing, or did you go through periods where you were doing mostly one or the other? Yeah,
great question. The funny thing is, I didn't connect the two until like now, you know, like I haven't, I mean, I was, but I wasn't. Like when I picked up the trumpet, it was a foreign object that I read music. Like it wasn't like singing. For me, when I sing, I'm not thinking of the note name, the note, you know, the label, because it's like a language. Like I've been doing it for so long. So now what I'm doing is I'm 41, and I'm currently trying to just really connect it. So I don't even care what notes I'm playing. I'm getting there. I did it yesterday. I'm so happy. Like I can hear stuff and play it, you know, I mean, really deeply, you know, it's awesome because what I do, like I read, like this month I was in the studio doing some film sessions for composers. I love to read, you know, and so you go and you read the stuff and you read different articulations and different styles. And that's one of my strengths, but that's not what I show the world mostly. You know, what I show the world is like, here I am singing. And so now I'm getting hipper with the music and the intricacies of the trumpet and the intellectual parts, which before, I don't know, I think this is a rambling answer to your question. Like the answer is yes, I've been doing it always, but I'm so excited lately that I've been able to kind of connect this, like singing through my trumpet and not, because I was afraid of not being good enough. And so I think that's why I would sing. It's a real truth. Like, oh, I could sing better than a lot of singers, you know, we're out. So I was like, I'm going to sing it. Yeah. And then I don't have to learn it. Like, but that wasn't really me. That's subconscious, you know, it was like this subconscious fear. That's why I sang. I can sing. And so it's a funny thing over the years, trumpet players, you know, I know the talk, like the criticism, oh, she's a good singer, but not that good of a trumpet player. Well, you could turn that around on them, you know? It's like, yeah, you're a good trumpet player, but not that good of a singer. It's like, what? You know, it's just a funny thing. It's like when you present yourself, right? It's never good enough. And so for me, that's why this was never good enough. And it showed. And now I just don't care. I love it so much. I love the smell of it. Like, you know, I do. I love all those things. And that's why I do it. And so I think it's going to be very good for the music. So far, it's working for me. But I think I sang out of fear. I'm not going to lie, because I was afraid of what the intellectuals were going to think of my trumpet playing, which is so crazy, you know?
You know, that's so interesting. My perception of a lot of instrumentalists is, number one, instrumentalists love to criticize and make fun of singers for not being real musicians.
Yes, the best thing to do, yeah.
Yeah, but instrumentalists all want to sing. Those that don't sing all want to sing. And I mean, what are you most often thinking about or imitating when you're shaping a phrase or a line as an instrumentalist. It's the voice. It's always the voice, right?
100%.
Yeah.
That's it right there. I can't tell you, I'm not going to tell you their names, but the number of Berklee professors who called me for voice lessons over the years who play other instruments because they just want to sing. And I said no all the time. I said no, because I'm not, if you want to sing, you need to sing. There's nothing a teacher's going to tell you. And yes, you could learn the proper techniques and stuff, but there's nothing, if you're beginning singing, honey, you got to sing. Because the reason I can sing and I have no fear with it is because I did it before I knew what it was, you know?
Yeah.
And so then as grownups, we try to think logically, I want to do this. You can't do it like that. You got to just do it with love, you know? But what you said is so true. Maurice Andre, the classical trumpet player, he said at his greatest playing, he felt like he was singing through his trumpet. And that's exactly right. Dizzy Gillespie said the same thing. He was trying to copy Ella Fitzgerald. No, Sarah Vaughan. He was trying to copy Sarah Vaughan, and Sarah Vaughan was trying to copy him.
Speaking of Sarah Vaughan, I mean, you know, just not that anybody has any doubt that you're any kind of a slouch as a jazz singer, but a couple of years ago, you placed as a finalist in the Sarah Vaughan International Jazz Vocal Competition, which seems like a big old deal to me, Christine. So tell me about that competition and what it was like.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because a friend of mine actually submitted my recording I had a student who mentioned the Sarah Vaughan competition, and I was like, oh, whatever that is. And then the next week, a friend of mine said, hey, I just submitted your tape in this, your 3 songs in this competition. And she's not a musician. She didn't know what it was. And I was like, what? I just heard about that last week. That's weird. And then I found out that I got accepted to it. I was like, what? I thought this was for like students or something, you know, but it's okay. I'm a student, you know, and most people knew me as like a trumpet player at that point and stuff. So I said, okay, let's do it. So I went and sang, and it was a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful concert. I met some great people, Ann Hampton Calloway, John Faddis, Christian McBride, some very, very cool guys. And I understand that there's a cultural thing that maybe I didn't fit into, you know, as far as like, there's a certain thing they're looking for and stuff like that, which is cool. I'm just grateful to be in any stage, anywhere. And so for me, like, I never think about what it's going to look like to anyone. I go, I'm in it, let's go. And then to other people, they might go, why'd you do that? Blah, blah, blah. You know, hey man, I'm in it. That's why. And I love it. And so sometimes people might look at something and go, well, you tried something, you failed, you did this, you did that. But for me, yeah, those are tough, difficult times. Like, I have a kind of winning mindset. Like, I want to go for things and get it.
Yeah.
But man, that's kind of like the best part of life is when I think I want something and I don't get it. And then I get to focus on other things like the trumpet, man, you know, I'm in love with it again. Like, I'm so grateful.
You keep up the trumpet, Christine. Would you play something? A little something?
I don't know. No, I don't need to play. I mean, I don't mind, but I don't need to play. I play for me. Like, for finally, you know, it's a fascinating part because as a singer, right? When you're growing up, like, I became a singer. I entered the arena before I knew what I was doing, you know, and suddenly you're on the stage and you're leading the band or whatever. But the truth is, I guess my point is I like to geek out too, you know, like, I'm a nerd, man. And I like all those different sounds, and I always connect with nerds like Jim, you know, so like, that's it for me. And so I guess those accolades or those things that people see, like, I don't even pay attention. I'm like, I don't know what people see, you know, like, and that for me, that's how I'm teaching my daughter. And because she, you know, kids like the TikTok videos and the kind of stuff, and they pay attention to that stuff. And so my husband and I are really training her by our example. We're just in the studio all day shedding, you know, No one sees it.
And you are, I don't think you mentioned this, you're married to a trumpet player.
Yes.
Also, what's that like?
I don't recommend that. I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, trumpet players, I mean, kind of the stereotype is that they're, divas, big personalities, difficult. I'm not saying, that applies. I'm just saying 2 trumpet players in one household must be interesting.
I don't know how we did that. We've been married for 15 years. How is this happening? I mean, I'll be like playing, and early on, he'd be like, "Why are you practicing that?" Or I'll be like, "So I noticed you switched your mouthpiece." We're just like busting each other. It's like, dude, that's not how to do it. No, but to be honest, it's fine. He's in Boston, just like many places. There are so many different circles, right?
Uh-huh.
So you could be a working musician and not know some other working musicians,
Sure.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the good news. And so for me and him, when we met, he was in heavier circles than I was. I mean, he was playing for like famous artists and first call trumpet and the shows in Boston and Connecticut. And so it was good. It worked out. But we actually ended up playing in a band together for a while, just a commercial function band. And so we spent a lot of time on stage. I prefer to have my own band, but that's okay.
I want to play one other clip from last summer's live stream concert, and this is an instrumental that I just love. And one reason I wanted to play it this morning is it's an original composition of Jim Aaron. Do you remember the tune that I'm talking about?
Yes.
This is called No One Like You. Enjoy. That's a gorgeous tune Jim wrote, isn't it?
Oh, anything he writes is just so beautiful. But that one, I remember the first time I played it, it was like I knew it already, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So one of the things you have coming up, I know, is that you're starting a community jazz band. Is that right?
Yes.
And so tell me about that.
Awesome. So I'm starting a big band, traditional instrumentation. We're going to have 4 trumpets, 4 trombones, 5 saxes, and piano bass drums. And we had our first audition, as you see, on Saturday. It was actually a huge success. There's too many sax players. I mean, I don't want to say that because I want more people to come. If we have too many, we'll have 2 bands. It's okay. Mm-hmm. So basically what I've learned, a couple of things. Since I've been in music education, I've had lots of students over the years, and I still have online students. I'm learning over the years, you know, the budgets are getting cut. There's less and less music. Even in charter schools, sometimes there's no music programs. Mm-hmm. So it's up to us, you know, like, hey, we can't rely on institutions. I was in an institution, and as much as they do very good things, sometimes in the community, it's up to the individuals to create the culture. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm just gonna, little by little, it's a long-term project. I have very low expectations at the beginning, which is good for me. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna rehearse once a week and give concerts in the community. And I've gotten some support already through the local Chamber of Commerce and through the high school public music programs. A couple of the band directors are probably going to play in the band. And so it's going to be a good thing, I think, to bring the community together, but also to give people opportunities to play. So that's it, you know.
Very cool. So yeah, there it is again. There's another audition coming up on Saturday, right? Yes. And there's Christine's information. If you are interested or know somebody who might be interested, that's going to be a very cool thing. I look forward to that.
We need more brass players. Okay.
All right. Put out the word. We need more brass players.
I'm not playing in the band. I'm just going to count it off and rehearse. I'm not going to play. I'm just going to be the director.
Okay. All right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So when I have a guest, I like to ask them to share a piece of music or a performance that they love. And you chose something for me to play this morning that you love. Would you tell me what it is?
Oh, yes, please. It was hard for me because, you know, there's different periods of time. There's different phases. I almost sent a classical piece, but I'm glad I didn't because you started off with that. That was cool. So Chet Baker is one of my huge influences. I love his forward motion with the melody. I love how he just he's in the moment and he doesn't care what happened before. And this for me is a huge lesson. But the reason I like this particular video is because you see why he doesn't ever smile. Because he's missing a tooth. And the story is, I read in the history books that after he got out of jail, he was eating breakfast in a diner, and somebody who he had a problem with came in and smashed his mouth with a ketchup bottle. And so that's why he doesn't have a tooth. And he kept playing. But that's why when you see him smile, he never smiles. He always keeps his mouth shut because he was missing a tooth. And this is a video where I grew up listening to Chet. I didn't see him, and so I never knew. And so I thought this was cool, man. This was like a guy who's been through so much singing this beautiful, simple melody. So
gorgeous. This is like from 1964, I think. And what's the name of the tune?
Time After Time.
Time After Time. Chet Baker, Time After Time. Here we go.
Tell myself that the day is through, I only know what I know. The passing years will show. You've kept my love so young, so new. And time after time, you hear me say that I'm so lucky to be loving you.
That's amazing. Talk about an instrumental sound that sings.
Yeah, and the
And
band's waiting to see what he does. They're like following him.
that was a long trumpet solo. I mean, that's so interesting. And to hear, like getting to hear him get to sing, and then to, have him pick up his horn and do that is just, that's just amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I love what he stands for, that the time period, everything, there's a lot going on.
Yeah. That was really gorgeous. Well, Christine, it has been so fun to hang out with you this morning. And I feel like now things are loosening up. Maybe we'll get to have you back here to make music live in front of people. That would make me tremendously happy.
Me too.
In the meantime, folks, know that Christine has a couple of fantastic recordings that I listen to a lot. They're available at all the usual places, including Spotify. And there's her website, ChristineFawson.com. If you want more information about anything going on, you can go there. And thanks so much for being with us this morning. It was so fun.
Cool. Thanks for having me, Matt. Keep up the awesome work.
Thanks. Great to see you. Take care. Friends, thanks for tuning in. I meant to say at the top that if you were trying to worship with us live yesterday at the 11 o'clock service, boy, yesterday was a rough day around here for technical stuff. And internet just was not happening. And especially yesterday when we were like celebrating baccalaureate, we were so sorry not to have a real live stream happen. But we were able to record the service kind of at the last minute, figured out a way to make that possible. And that is up on the YouTube channel. If you didn't get a chance to be in worship yesterday, you can go back and watch the worship service. And I hope that you do. And I am going to be off from doing this the next couple of Mondays, but I'll be back the beginning of June, and we're going to reschedule the conversation that I wasn't able to have with Adrian Danrich in early June. So hope that you will tune in for that. And just stay tuned about everything that's going on, particularly around worship and music, because I think some changes for the better are probably coming sooner rather than later. Thanks for tuning in this morning. Have a great week. Bye.